We're roadtoruler.com with your morning news, your horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Crazy crypto weekend this weekend. If you guys were watching, cryptocurrencies are going off the charts. A couple interesting things I'd like to point out. Yes, a lot of them are in bubbles, and a lot of them shouldn't even be around and won't be around when we have the next banking collapse, most likely sometime later this summer. And the reason they won't be around is there's no use for them. There's 4 or 5 cryptos that should do just fine and do well, and because there's a use for them. Everything else is kind of speculation. And when the banking collapse happens and money is no longer free to run around and speculate, or actually have to give up something to play in the markets, people will abandon the smaller cryptos. If there's no use for them going forward, specific use for each crypto, then they probably won't survive. I'm not saying that I am not saying that I know which ones will survive and which ones will not. What I am saying is, according to this chart right here on CoinMarketCap, there's 724 different cryptocurrencies that they track, and there's a lot more in the making. So unless there's a specific use for each crypto, not use as, you know, something that could jump into the place of Bitcoin if Bitcoin fails. Bitcoin's not going to fail. Bitcoin will be the number 1. Ether will be the number 2. And then everything else is kind of up for grabs. There's Litecoin, which just got added to Coinbase, which gives it a lot of credence because people find it easy to buy now. Is it needed? I don't know. A lot of people love Dash. I always saw Dash as a replacement for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin was to fail, and all the problems that seem to come up almost every few months, Dash would solve a lot of those problems. Will it survive? I don't know. I don't know if there's a need for it. When Bitcoin gets through its next issues about the scalability, which there are a lot of new thoughts and new ideas coming on how to fix the scaling problem. But I don't see that as a problem right away. Dashcoin, I don't know if it can survive after Bitcoin fixes its issues. Dashcoin will not take Bitcoin's place. I don't believe so. Bitcoin has the first mover lead, but mainly Bitcoin has a huge infrastructure already. And that's what's going to be needed, because there's not going to be the free money there is today to build out the infrastructure in Dashcoin or a lot of these different coins. I'm not saying it's not going to go up, and all the altcoins are going up. If you look at the prices here, Bitcoin's at 1661, Ethereum at 91 bucks. Ripple's been going crazy lately at 21 cents. It's one of those. Supposedly Ripple is the bankster's cryptocurrency, so it's a little different in that I think it's a fixed amount of coins, but yeah, the bankers have a lot of money. And so if it's the banker's coin, yes, of course it's going to go up exponentially. But also, when the banks crash, it's going to go down exponentially, because the banks are going to be struggling to find anywhere to get their hands on some cash. And if they have a few $1 billion in a cryptocurrency, I would suggest that they would sell that right away, and then they'll all sell at the same time. And they all have very big money, so that would crash Ripple at some point. But in the meantime, the banks are going to buy Ripple up. Speculators are going to buy Ripple up, and Ripple will keep ripping along at 21 cents now and moving. I remember when it was 0.03 cents. It was ridiculous. And that wasn't that long ago. Okay, and then there's all the other Ethereum Classic. I don't think it'll probably still be around, but it's not going to take the place of Ether. ETH versus ETC. ETH is the survivor of the fork. Those forks that they say Bitcoin can't handle. There was a small amount of people who said, we want the Ethereum Classic. We want the old Ethereum, and we're not going to fork off. We're just going to continue. And they have, and the proof is in the pudding. ETC, which is Ethereum Classic, is trading at $6.83. And ETH, which is Ethereum, is trading at $91.29. Clearly, the winner has been chosen. And that's the way it goes. I don't think ETC is going away anytime soon, but I don't know how long, if it will last through the banker crash. So that's kind of what's going on the cryptocurrencies. If you're a trader, this is a dream come true. You got bubbles. You'd love to sell things at highs and buy at lows. You've probably got a lot of book gain, and if you sell it, great. And a lot of people sell and expect it to bottom out and then buy back. Good luck with that. Especially with the cryptos, because they can be manipulated either which way. And yes, I do expect them to be manipulated down once again at some point, but then quickly recover and go back up over the previous highs, as has been the case in the last 2 years. And I think that's part of the plan. So right now, all this money going into I would hesitate to say all this money, because when you look at a Bitcoin market cap at $27 billion, it's tiny compared to everything else in the financial world. But also, the market cap is based off a price and a quantity. The price is 1661 right now, and the quantity is 16,317,000 coins. The action and the function which determines price is not $27 billion going into Bitcoin. The reality is it's one trade. That's what the last trade went for, and then they say, here's the market cap. So if I sell one Bitcoin in the next microsecond, and I sell it for $1,800, that is the price for every Bitcoin according to what is recorded. So did my purchase of one Bitcoin at $1,800 add $2 billion to the price, to the market cap of Bitcoin? It did. It absolutely did. But the market cap is not necessarily reflective of how much money is going in or out. That's all it's reflective of is the last trade recorded and posted. So, and because the way a market cap is determined is you take the the amount of the coin circulating, which is 16,300,000, times the price, the last traded price of Bitcoin. Now, right here, the last traded price was $1,661.17. So if you just multiply it together, you come up with $27,106,867. That's how a market cap is determined. The last trade. So it gets a little confusing. Be careful. All right. Now, and the same can go on the other side. If I trade 1 million Bitcoin at $1,800, that would change the market cap a whole lot more. It would make the same change in the market cap, not more, less, not less, the same. Don't you love how cryptos get you all? But this is a market thing. It's like silver is that's like 16.25 right now. That's not every price, every ounce of silver in the world is worth 25. All it means is that silver, the last trade happened at 16.25, and to find out the market cap of silver, you take the full supply out there, and then you times it by what the last trade was. So it gets confusing. Exchanges are tough. Exchanges are going to be shutting down, too. That's another thing we got to keep in mind, is that when the banking crash happens, all the cryptocurrencies exchanges will shut down as well, because they are run off of fiat money, off the fiat money system. They pay their employees, they pay their taxes, they pay everything, their internet bills off the fiat monetary system. So it will be very hard to trade gold, silver, or Bitcoin in the transition. When the banks shut down, everything's pretty much going to shut down, because nothing can run without the fiat system running. So we really will get to. That's why you have to get your Bitcoin off of the exchange, get your gold and silver out of a third-party hand, is because at some point, very soon, we're going to see the banking collapse, and then you're not going to be able to get money for your Bitcoin. You're not going to be able to get money for your silver or gold, and then we got to wait for the system to start up again. At that point, it should be very valuable. But how long will it take to get to that point is the question, and there's not a lot of answers out there right now. Anyway, that's your crypto update. Crypto's going crazy. Let's do a quick look at Zero Hedge, see what's on the news for today. I'm just going to skim through these. Trump accuses Sally Yates of leaking classified information into the newspapers. Yeah, Sally Yates was the deputy district attorney and no, Deputy Attorney General for the U.S. after Trump let people go. Ended up firing her, but she was the deputy. I think Obama put her as deputy, and she's bad. She's bad. She's working with the bad guys. So she's going to get in front of Congress and tell Congress how much the Trump administration was colluding with the Russians. Of course they were colluding. To take down the bad guys, you had to collude with the Russians. You had to collude with the Chinese. It was a bigger operation behind the scenes. But Sally Yates is going to get herself in trouble because she was a huge leaker of classified information. And they're going to get her under oath saying that she did not leak any information, didn't know anything about it. And then they're going to pull up these old documents and emails and say, aha, you knew, here's the proof, go to jail. Hopefully. We'll find out later today, I guess. It won't happen today. Today, they would just want to get her on record saying that she did not know anything about any leak of this information, which is a complete lie, because she was the one who leaked it, and they know it, and they probably have proof. So it's always the setup that gets people in trouble. If you lie to Congress, that is a federal offense, and you go to jail. Except if your name is Hillary Clinton, then you don't have to. Strange days we live in. OPEC keeps falling. The price of oil keeps falling. It's all part of the game. It's going to weaken the dollar because we went through this 2 days ago. The petrodollar was set up by Henry Kissinger. Alan Greenspan was involved too at the very beginning, the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. And it was all about forcing the world to pay for oil in U.S. dollars because it created artificial demand for U.S. dollars around the world because every country had to hold U.S. dollars if they wanted to buy oil. Let's see. Marcon wins and the risk-off trade. They're going to find out really quickly in Europe that it didn't matter who won that election. And what it tells me from the battle between the good guys and the bad guys is the bad guys still have a lot of control over Europe. And getting their guy in, he was a ex-Rothschild banker. Definitely a bad guy, definitely working with the bad guys. But they don't have a solution for Europe. And it might be a good thing that Le Pen didn't win because they would have blamed Le Pen for the crash in Europe and in France. And instead they're going to blame a criminal who works for criminals, Marcon. Anyway, a complete mess. China stocks, bonds, commodities crumble as trade data disappoints. The forced deleveraging of China's WMP-driven excess was not helped overnight by disappointing trade data, as both import and export growth slumped. Well, here's the thing to think about when you read a headline like that. China, like the United States of America, has 100% control of any number that the government puts out. They can lie and do every single time. So why is it that China lied about that? Why would China give out bad news unless they're starting to push for some kind of collapse, which I think they are. And there's oil. Oil slumps to $45 handle as Saudi job boning fails. I love when they put the reasons for jumps up or jump down in oil prices as any commodity prices, because it's a lie. It is a complete lie. The only reason the oil slumps to a 45 handle is because Steve Mnuchin and friends at the Treasury and the U.S. Fed clicked the mouse and said, okay, oil, you're going to go down to 45.75 cents. That is why oil went down. No other reason. There is no other reason. If they wanted to go up on that day, they would set it to $60 a barrel and they would invent a story. Here's why oil went up. Saudi job boning was successful. And it's insane what goes on these days. Just insane. The full scope of the market rigging and criminality going on behind the scenes to control the system and push that boat wherever they want with a little click of a mouse. It is very easy to do if you have unlimited funds dealing in non-real types of assets, derivatives. Oil doesn't move because they found another barrel of oil. Oil moves because the Treasury buys and sells 1 billion derivatives on oil. And that's all that it takes to move the price of oil. All right. Oh, very interesting. The Home Capital Bank run up in Canada is really it's accelerating. Those who got their money out, congratulations, you're a first mover. Everybody else, you're an idiot to keep your money in that place. Why would you? Give me one reason you would keep your money in a company that's leveraged to the hilt and clearly failing. There is no reason, and you're probably getting no interest at all. I am astounded at those people who wait till the last minute to pull their money out of failing institutions like the banks and things like that. Go take care of it on the rumor. Be the first one in line at the bank that fails coming up. Bank of America, Citibank, JP Morgan, they'll all go down. And when they go down, everything goes down because they're all interconnected. So be the first in line. Go there now. Go there before the line starts. Pull your cash out. BIX, that's my advice. It's been my advice for a long time, so you better hurry. All right. More market mocks OPEC crude jawboning. It's all a game, and there are people who know it's about to happen in the commodity world at every tick of the clock, but that's how they make their money, so they're not going to tell you. They'll actually tell you the exact opposite of what they want you to be betting against them, because it's like taking candy money from a baby. I'm all over the place this morning. BIX, roto.com. Thank you for joining me. This is your morning Horn of Z's. I need another sip. That's the problem. Here's more on Macron will prove a disappointment as nothing is actually fixed in Europe. I'll make a grand prediction. Macron will prove a disappointment. When Europe looks calm and sorted, it's not. Nothing is actually fixed. For all the happy posts this morning about Euro strength, which stocks to buy on the basis of French recovery and the rest, I doubt it. I doubt it too. Everybody with half a brain doubts it because nothing is fixed in Europe, and Europe is an absolute mess that was put off since 2008. It wasn't fixed. It was put off. Same with the U.S. Everything was put off since 2008. It's coming right around to the Economist magazine in 1987 with that gold coin around the Phoenix rising out of the burning unbacked fiat money. And that date on there was 2018. Very interesting. But I think the most interesting thing on that coin is what looks like a zero with the slash through it. I've been doing research on that. It doesn't mean, at first I thought it meant zero. It doesn't mean zero. It's actually an Illuminati symbol. And I haven't found yet what that symbol means. If anybody out there knows what that symbol means, the zero with the slash, and I think the slash intersects the zero. And it's an Illuminati symbol for something. I don't know exactly what it is. Last day on Earth. It could be anything. But it is clearly on that coin around the Phoenix's neck, and is a gold coin that says, "Are you ready for a one world currency?" I think that's what it says. It's not a one world government. Remember that. It's not a one world government. All it is predicting is the end of fiat money by 2018. And if you look around, it very well could happen by 2018. I think it'll probably happen near the end of this year. But the bad guys have their plans. The good guys have their plans. And both of them want the system to crash. So we'll see what happens going forward. And if you can track down what that symbol means in the Illuminati version, I know there's a lot of other symbolic things you can attribute it to. It kind of looks like the zero with the dash through it in computer programs. It could be part of that. We don't know. But I think this one is a circle with a line that goes through it and at a specific angle. And it's supposed to mean something. So if someone can find that for me, I would appreciate it. I looked all over the internet and couldn't find it. But I was tipped off that it was some kind of Illuminati symbol representative of something. Another adventure we can go on together. All right. Anything else? Everything else is kind of the same. Is war possible? Yeah, it is. With North Korea, and hopefully it won't get really out of hand. But we have to take these bad guys out once and for all. Not bad guys, not saying North Korea. It's the people who control North Korea. The Rothschilds behind the scenes are the people we need to go to war with. Where do they live? Can we go find them and bomb them? Where do the Rothschilds live? Does anybody know? I'm sure it's a mansion somewhere in a very fortified area. But and how many are left? All these old guys keep getting knocked off, so I don't know how many are left to run the show. But clearly, the people who are telling Obama what to do are getting thrown out of America, and hopefully, in England they're going to throw him out. That's a much bigger bite of the puzzle, the Bank of England and all that. But Europe is still struggling massively. You can tell by the Le Pen election loss. Anyway, this is BIX Weir. I will be doing more videos this week. Lots going on the road to Ruta. So go to roadtoruta.com and put your name in for emails every day, just about every day, announcing these videos. And I'm going to start writing more subject matter in the old email form of what I used to do for the first 15 years of Road to Ruta. Everything went out via the written word. Now I'm all over YouTube just to get new people understanding what's going on, to bring them up to speed so life isn't as confusing as it seems these days. Anyway, BIX Weir, subscribe, like, send this to friends. We'll talk to you later.